Hi everyone, welcome to Impact Academy. I'm Yashasvi Chintada. So let us continue with the 11th question of the most important question series of Indian history. So, with reference to the difference between the culture of Rigvedic Aryans and Indus Valley people. See, Indus Valley civilization is somewhere around 2700, 2500 from that period to 1750, 1500 around that period. Okay. So that is also called as the Chalcolithic period, and it overlaps little with Neolithic also. Anyway, it's mostly the Chalcolithic, also called as the copper copper age, right? Copper age, bronze age, etc. So iron was not invented by that time. Iron was invented later on around 500, 600 BC. Okay, by the time you have this Magadha Empire, etc. And iron, invention of iron is one of the main reason for spread of Magadha Empire. So all these things, let us look at the question. So Rigvedic Aryans used the coat of mail and helmet in warfare, whereas the people of Indus Valley civilization did not give any evidence of using them. So you can say that is correct. Okay, Rigvedic Aryans used these helmets and all these things. Where they're also called, I mean, these chariots, etc. Okay, they used all those chariots were coming out in explorations, right? And also the Ramayana also mentions about chariots covered with leather and the coats of mail and helmets. Helmets are called as Sironastra. Okay, Sironastra helmets and these coats of mail are called as Varma. All these things are there. And swords were called as Asi. Okay, and arrows were called as Banas. Hanas or Banas or arrows. And the bow is called Ilinus. So all these things are there. Those are there written. I mean, those are regarding the Rigvedic Aryans. And the Indus Valley civilization, all we see were what to say these trade practices, terracotta seals, okay, plow toys and wooden plows, etc. So iron was not there by the time, and we see the citadels, great bar, and bronze statues, all these things. Okay, these are pictographic inscriptions. All those things are Indus Valley civilization. So you can say first one is correct. Rigvedic Aryans knew gold, silver, copper, that is fine. Whereas Indus Valley people knew only copper and iron. This is the wrong statement. Iron was invented later on. Okay, Rigvedic, I mean, Indus Valley civilization ended by around 1750 to 1500 around that. See, it ended gradually, not abruptly. So around by 1750, the decline has started by 1500, etc. BC, and we are talking about BC, before the Common Era. Okay, and Indus Valley people only knew copper. So that's why it is called as the Chalcolithic age. Okay, and third one, Rigvedic Aryans had domesticated the horse, which is true, whereas there is no evidence of having Indus Valley people be aware of this animal. So if you look at in the Indus Valley civilization, here and there are like if you say Sukhothara, there are bones of horse, etc. Here and there it is there, but there is no clear-cut evidence that what you say horses were domesticated by that time. But later on, when the Rigvedic period came after the Indus Valley civilization, it is followed by the Vedic age, right? Pre-Vedic, later Vedic. So Vedic by the time Vedic period, the horses were well domesticated. So one and three are the right options. Two is wrong. Indus Valley people knew copper but not iron. That is why it is called Chalcolithic age. Iron came later during the period of Madaras. Okay, so let's look at the 12th question. Which of the following books of ancient India has the love story of the son of the founder of Shunga dynasty? So Shunga dynasty founder is Pushyamitra Shunga. Okay, so Shunga dynasty founder is Pushyamitra Shunga, and this Malavika Agnimitra is written by Kalidasa. Very, very, very important. Okay, and these books are very important. Swapna Vasavadatta is written by Basa, Bhasa, Basa. Frequently, in I mean, just now recent group 2 preliminary also it was asked. Swapna Vasavadatta was written by Basa. Meghaduta was written by Kalidasa. Malvikagni Mitra is written by Kalidasa. And also Abhigyana Sakuntalam is one more important book written by Kalidasa. And Ratravali was written by King Harsha himself. Okay, all these are very important. So anyway, we are talking about Malavika Agnimitra. Okay, founder of Shunga dynasty, Pushyamitra Shunga, and Malavika Agnimitra is a Sanskrit play. Remember, it is a Sanskrit play by Kalidas, and it tells about the love story of Agnimitra. He is the Shunga emperor. He is the son of Pushmitra Sunga. Okay, and he falls in love with a common servant girl, and her name is Malavika. So that combination, Malavika Agni, that combination love story becomes Malavika Agni Mitra by Kalidasa. Very important. Meghaduta is also written by Kalidasa. Kalidasa. So among these things, who was the following first deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka? James Prinsep. You have to remember. Max Muller is a historian who studied and came up with the Aryan invasion theory, right? But James Prinsep is the famous archaeologist and historian who deciphered the edicts of Emperor Ashoka, especially that edict where Ashoka mentions himself as the what is say Devanampya Pidasi, right? Beloved of the gods. Okay, he is more associated with that around 1837 that region. And regarding Ashokan inscriptions, one is that Rumindai pillar recently asked in group 2 prelims, right? He went to Lumbini and reduced the tax there. That is the Rumindai pillar. And several other, in the 13th major rock edict of Ashoka, he talks about the Kalinga War and the Dhamma, etc. Okay, all those things are very important. Fine. So, which of the following kingdoms were associated with life of Buddha? So, if you observe, Gandhara is part of the Mauryan Empire, and Buddhism was at its peak at that time. But Gandhara, Buddha is not directly related with Gandhara. It is in the northwestern region. So, current today you can say Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, that region. So, Buddha was not directly related. Even Avanti also, Buddha was not directly related. Okay, though even Avanti was a prominent, what is a province of the Mauryan Empire and Magadha Empire, etc. So Magadha has always been that Patliputra Magadha region has been capital. And Buddha came from Nepal, right? He came from Lumbini and he died at Kushinagara. And at Kosala and Magadha, he was the that Sarnath Deer Park was the first place where he gave the sermon, and he got enlightened under the Bodh Gaya, Bihar. So all these things are very important. So Kosala means you have to remember Prasenjit. Okay, Prasenjit, the king of Kosala. He was a contemporary of Buddha. Okay, and even if you look at Jainism, Mahavira, Vardhamana Mahavira was also related to the royal family of Magadha. Even Buddha is from a royal family. He is called Sakyamuni. He is part of the Sakya clan. Okay. So because of the closeness with the royal family also, they were able to spread their religion. At that time, there were more than 62 religions, but only Jainism and Buddhism flourished. The Ajivikas, all these things, many other religions, they did not flourish. So anyway, Avanti and Gandhara are not related to Buddha directly. So 3 and 4 is the option. So option D would be the right answer. So, among the following, who was not a proponent of Bhakti? So, the Bhakti and Sufi movement, one thing is during the 6th and 7th century, you had the initial Bhakti movement, the Alvars, Nainas, okay? The Alvars belong to the Vaishnavas, Nainas are devotees of Shiva, Shaivites. And what is Adi Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, all those things are early proponents of Bhakti movement. Later on, again in the 13th, 14th, 15th century, you had a resurgence of the Bhakti movement, and also it was kind of what is a reaction to the Sufi movement. So at the same time, Bhakti and Sufi movement were very popular, and Bhakti movement, Tyagaraya Kirtanas are very prominent. This Al Adigo, that song, all those things are Tyagaraya Kirtanas. And Bhakti Tukaram is in Maharashtra region. He is also very famous Bhakti saint, Maharashtra. Okay, and also so Tyagaraya is a proponent of Carnatic music. That is also frequently asked. Okay, Indian classical music, there are Hindustani and Carnatic, right? So Tyagaraya belongs to the Carnatic section, more prominent in the South India. So Vallabhacharya is a prominent Telugu philosopher, and he is a devotee of Krishna. He started a sect called as Pushti sect. Okay, Pushti sect of Vaishnavism, especially in the Andhra, Telangana, South India, Karnataka region. Okay, and Tukaram is a 17th century Hindu poet in Maharashtra. Okay, Bhakta Tukaram. Nagarjuna, Acharya Nagarjuna means immediately Buddhism has to come to mind. Okay, Nagarjuna Konda, Nagarjuna, all that. So Nagarjuna is a Buddhist philosopher, and his disciple was Aryadeva. All these are very important. And Nagarjuna, Acharya Nagarjuna is usually said to be the founder of the Madhyamaka science school of Mahayana Buddhism. So Buddhism, when it got divided into Mahayana and Hinayana, the Mahayana, there are several subsects called the Madhyamaka sects. That means middle part, Madhyamika, not extremes. Okay, that was literally founded by Nagarjuna. So all these are very important. So he is not exactly a proponent of Bhakti cult. He was a Buddhist. Okay, Buddhist philosopher. All the other three are Bhakti cult. And other famous are Ramanuja, Adi Shankaracharya. Okay, all these things are very famous. And you have Kabir. Okay, and then the Sufi you have Qaza Muhyiddin Chishtis. Okay, all the Chishti and what is Qadri, Naqshbandi, all those are various sects of. And you have Sikhism, you have Guru Nanak. Okay, and several other things. All those are part of the important Bhakti and Sufi movement. So, if you look at this, which of the following are applicable to Jainism? The surest way of annihilating karma is to practice penance. That's why you see in Jainism, there is always the practice of penance. Even if you look at how they attain death, okay, the Salegana, okay, they stop eating food and only eat nuts for a few days, and then they stop eating everything and slowly attain what is say moksha or nirvana. So that is called penance, practice of penance, and extremes are always there in Jainism. So, surest way of annihilating karma is to practice penance, which is true. Every object, even the smallest particle, has a soul, which is true. That is why many times they don't take any medicines. Previously, the what is a very orthodox Jain doctrine, yeah, they don't even take medicine because they don't want to kill the bacteria also. Okay, and karma is the bane of the soul and must be ended. This is a very standard statement in Jainism. So all three are correct. Option D is correct. So if you look at 17th, okay, Chinese traveler Yuan Sang, also called as Yuan Chong, mostly called as Yuan Sang, who visited India during the Harshavardhana period. Okay, he visited during the Harshavardhana period in the 6th, 7th century. And Yuan Sang, right? The book written by him is Siyuki. The book written by Fahin. Fahin came little bit earlier during the Chandragupta period, Chandragupta II, and he wrote the book Fokoko. Remember that? But Huan Sang, he came later on during the Harshavardhana period, and he wrote the book Siyuki. Okay, very important. Siyuki. And in the North India, Harshavardhana was there. And when Huan Sang visited South India, especially the Andhra Karnataka region, he visited during the period of Kubja Vishnuvardhana. Kubja Vishnuvardhana was the founder of the Chalukyan Empire, the Eastern Chalukyan Empire, not the Chalukyan Empire of Badami, the Chalukya Vengi, the Chalukyas of Vengi, or the Eastern Chalukyas of Vengi. Okay, that founder is Kubja Vishnuvardhana, and Kubja Vishnuvardhana was the brother of Pulakesi too. Very, very important, all these points. And Huan Sang visited during that time. And when he visited, he taught Vajrayana Buddhism to Dasamalla. All those are very important points. He visited in the north during period of Harsha and in the south during the period of Kubja Vishnuvardhana. Now, the roads and river roads are completely immune from robbery. This is a very wrong statement. When Fahin visited, he made some statement like that. Okay, slavery was absent and there was no robbery. But when Huan Sang came, he himself was robbed a couple of times. So he said that law and order was not very good, and he also mentioned about decline of position of women during the Harsha period. The position of women was not very good. Very important. All these types of questions are being asked in the exam these days. As regards punishment for offences, ordeals by fire, water, poison were the instruments for determining the innocence or guilt. So basically, what this means is, so two people will say they'll come and say I'm right or that person is wrong. So they'll say both of you drink poison. Whoever is right will live, and the person who is wrong will die. Okay, or they will put a small fire inside a pot. They'll say go around the temple and come. If the fire in your pot is still there, then you are the right person. So such ordeals by fire, water, poison, etc. were there at that time. Remember that? And the tradesman had to pay duties at ferries and barrier stations. So this is called the tax, toll tax or chumkam. So that sunkam or toll tax is also important source of revenue for that, because brisk trade was there during in the South India. If you see the time after that, you have this what do you say Ganapati Deva, Motupalli inscription, all these things, Abhaya Sasnam, all those are very important. So there was always focus on trade with foreign nations. Okay, port cities were there, trade was going on, and this tax at ferries, airports, and all checkpoints, etc. That was an important source of income. So one is wrong, right? So two and three, option B would be the right answer. So with reference to the scientific progress of ancient India, which of the statements given below are correct? Different kinds of specialized surgical instruments were common use by first century, which is true. We have the Charaka Samhita, right? Charaka Muni is a famous surgeon, considered one of the foremost, not Charaka, Shushruta, I'm sorry. So Charaka Muni, I believe they are the Chavanprash. Shushruta is called as the father of surgery. So specialized surgical instruments were already there by that time. Transplant of internal organs was not there. It came later on. So two is wrong. So this concept of sine, angle, quadrilateral, all this belongs to trigonometry. So if you look at the Gupta period and that period, by that time, at this period, no, third century, fourth century, Gupta period, it is called. So by the time you have this famous, what is it, Brahmagupta, Varahamihira, all these people are very famous, right? Brahmagupta is a very famous mathematician in the Gupta, and you have these Navaratnas in the Gupta Empire, right? Navaratnas, Shanku belongs to geography, Varahamihira, astronomy, Dhanvantari, medicine, okay, Brahmagupta, mathematics, and Brahmagupta wrote two major, this Brahmasputa Siddhanta and Khandakadyaka. Okay, all these are very important. And Varahamihira wrote Surya Siddhanta, I believe. We'll have to cross check. Anyway, all these are very, very important. So by the time this knowledge was there, geometry and trigonometry, that knowledge was already there. Okay, and Aryabhatta also during the 5th century, one of the famous Aryabhatta. Previously, they said he invented zero. Now there were some claims, and now they're saying zero was invented by some unknown Indian. So Aryabhatyam was written by Aryabhatta. All these are very, very important. So two is wrong. Okay, so 1, 3, and 4. 18 option C is correct. So with reference to the history of ancient India, which of the following was were common to both Buddhism and Jainism? So avoidance of extremities of penance and enjoyment. This is wrong in regarding of Buddhism. Buddhism, they always followed the Madhyamika Margam, not extremes, no extreme. You have to be in the middle path. So, but Jainism followed extremes. Okay, so one is wrong. Indifference to the authority of the Vedas, which is true. Both Buddhism and Jainism were indifferent to the authorities of Vedas. They did not accept Vedas as the supreme, and the denial of efficacy of rituals. So even both Buddhism and Jainism, they said no rituals. Only you need to be prayers, meditation, etc. So what is the one is wrong with reference to awareness of etc. etc. So basically, you can say option B is okay. 2 and 3 are correct. One is wrong. And also you have to remember God. When it comes to God, Jainism accepts God, but places God below the Jina. Jina is higher than the God conqueror. And Buddhism is agnostic about God. That is silent. It neither accepts nor rejects. Okay, but Vedas, both of them have rejected. Vedas, rituals, idol worship, everything they were not supporting it. So 20 question. Lord Buddha's image is sometimes shown with the hand gesture called Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. That means taking energy from the God. It's simple, I mean, from the earth. So it symbolizes, you can say, B. Buddha's calling of the earth to witness his purity and chastity despite the temptation of Mara. So Buddha, you can say he meditated for around 2 weeks or something, right? All those are very important. He was born in Lumbini, and then he at the age of 29, Mahanishribina, he went away with his horse Kantakam, and then he meditated under a Bodhi tree, Bodh Gaya, the Bodhi tree, and attained enlightenment. And while he was meditating, this Mara was the god of evil who came and tried to disturb Buddha. So, in spite of all those temptations, went on and he got enlightened under the Bodhi tree. And he gave first sermon at Sarnath Deer Park, and he prominently traveled around that Kosala, Magadha, all those regions, and also Rajagriha, all those regions. And his death happened at Kushinagara at the age of 82 when a person named Chanda gave him pig meat to eat. He accepted it as prasad and after eating that, he got diarrhea and he expired. And while expiring, his last words were, "All things are subject to decay." Okay, so all these are important points of Buddhism. They can be asked in the question. So you can say 20B is the answer. Okay. So let us stop here. Continue with the next set of questions.